We're on the road to WrestleMania, so why not start at stop numero uno? Today we are doing a history lesson of WrestleMania 1. I love that it was originally going to be called the Colossal Tussle.
The Colossal doesn't even rhyme.
Colossal Tussle?
The Colossal Tussle.
Colossal Tussle?
If you had JR in there, it's the Colossal Tussle.
By God!
By God, it's the Colossal Tussle.
All of the
Good
big wrestling fans know, but I'm not giving you any new information. But those of you who don't know, this was around McMahon saying, screw the territories. He went out and got all of the top stars from all of the territories, number one being Hulk Hogan. Hulk was his dude. So what do you do with when you pissed off all of the competition and you've put all of your money into these new wrestlers' paychecks and arenas and tours and trucks to do the tours, and you have a Saturday night show on TBS that is not doing well because they're still pissed they're not getting WCW. You put all your money and eggs in one basket and you throw a big old party and call it WrestleMania.
Yeehaw.
This was the big event to kick off the new company, and he really leaned in hard on the celebrities endorsing it. He teamed with MTV and Cyndi Lauper to do this. WrestleMania was the third of a series. They had two on MTV, and this was the big payoff for everything. And the main storylines were around Wendy Richter winning the women's title and Mr. T and Hulk Hogan going after Rowdy Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff. Have you gone back and watched any of like the 80s wrestling or anything like that?
A little bit, but nothing like in depth where I was like following storylines and stuff, just matches.
That's good because there wasn't a whole lot of storylines back then. You know, they really just did matches back then. Yeah. They're like, put these two guys together and have a big payoff and done deal. Yeah. You know, like the reason the territories worked for the time is you mixed your people. Like, you kept it fresh. You had your big baby face that ruled all. You never let them go. But then you brought in different heels. The territories traded heels to keep it fresh for their big baby face. You didn't have anybody falling in and out of the main event scene. Once you were in the main event scene, you were just a top guy that just went around. Mm-hmm. But with McMahon having everyone under one roof, now you kind of got to figure it out. Yeah. Figure it out. That's why it's so funny to see. We were just talking about every big superstar in WWE has a place in WrestleMania 41. 40 years later. Mm-hmm. WrestleMania 1, minus a couple of top matches, a bunch of talents beating up enhancement talent.
Right.
WrestleMania 1 was full of jobbers.
Yeah. You got to put on a show.
They did eventually land on WrestleMania. Don't worry. They didn't stay with Colossal Tussle. That's so bad.
Colossal Tussle.
That is. Could you imagine if we were getting hyped?
Tonsil.
Could you imagine if we were getting hyped for the Colossal Tussle 41?
I'd be pumped.
I don't know if they'd make it that far with that name. I don't know if we'd have it with that name.
I'd still buy merch.
They eventually went with WrestleMania after Howard Finkel taking credit for going and suggesting WrestleMania after Beatlemania.
Fantastic ring announcer, Howard Finkel.
Howard Finkel. He was the first. He was the only one that was on like the first like 30 WrestleManias.
What a G.
McMahon put everything he had into WrestleMania 1, and he openly told the wrestlers, this is make or break for our company.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he, risked his house on this event.
Yes. He put the company and his financial future on the line. Of course, all the wrestlers, you got to think about this. All of these wrestlers just pissed off every booker they know. Mm-hmm. So if this goes belly up, they're going to have to eat some crow to get back in their old territory.
Everybody. Yes.
Everyone needs this to go well.
Needs this to go well.
All right, so take you to March 31st, 1985, New York City, Madison Square Garden. That sounds familiar. Mm-hmm. They taped TBS Saturday morning show the day before. So a lot of these wrestlers had to catch a flight to New York after working Saturday night.
Oh, imagine that. I mean, nowadays, these guys get there a whole week early and just go around.
Get ready. You got to do media, bro.
Doing that media.
Don't worry, Hogan was already in New York doing media.
Course.
He did SNL the week before.
Oh, so he's there the whole week.
Yeah, so he was there. 19,121 people in attendance, seen by over 1 million viewers through closed circuit TV. No pay-per-view, couldn't watch it at home. You had to go somewhere that was broadcasting it.
Very cool.
So bars televised it, theaters did it. There was one place, the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, had a riot because they lost the signal.
I love
not that far into it.
I wish we still did that with WrestleMania. I wish movie theaters still did that, especially the ones that served food.
Right.
Oh, it'd be amazing.
They had a technical glitch that closed the broadcast early to appease the fans. WWE broadcast it on the local ABC affiliate 2 weeks later.
Oh man, so people didn't even get to watch the main event. They all went out, and that's a bummer.
They didn't get to watch a big chunk of it.
That's a bummer.
They had to wait 2 weeks because there was no internet to be like, who won?
So did this break the company? This massive error?
It did not, because even though they had a technical glitch, the first WrestleMania, between ticket sales, merch sales, and closed circuit bot, grossed $12 million.
Wow.
In 1985.
They got that money, so they didn't have to.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Yeah, you screw up the thing, you get everyone's money, and then you say, all right, here's it for free 2 weeks later. It's like putting out an album, making people pay for it.
And all they had to do,
special on YouTube, a few months later.
All they had to do was refund those guys. They got everybody else's money.
Right. I mean? But they probably didn't refund it.
They probably didn't. We got Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse Ventura on commentary. Rumor is Jesse Ventura very nervous. Had to be calmed down before the show.
I mean, it's a big deal. You're going out to 1 million homes.
Yeah. Lord Alfred Hayes backstage. Man, I miss that dude. God, nothing like a backstage interview with Lord Alfred Hayes. Mean Gene Okerlund sang the national anthem. Multi-talented Mean Gene.
Got to go back and watch that.
Right.
We're going to run that one back.
9 matches on the card.
It's a lot.
9 matches in 2 hours.
Man, it's like having the pitch clock in baseball. Like, they were really running through it.
Yeah, one match was pretty quick, but we'll get to that.
Man, and they still messed up the broadcast. It was only 2 hours.
They still messed up the broadcast. 2 hours. That's all you had to do was get it there for 2 hours. Man, the 80s. Tough to do stuff in the 80s.
Yeah, I guess.
Opening match, Tito Santana defeated the Executioner. We all remember the Executioner from helping Mankind in the Undertaker feud. This one was jobber Buddy Rose. They just put him under a mask, and they're like, you look like an Executioner. Little fact, this was Tito Santana's only win on WrestleMania.
It'd be like that sometimes.
He beat Papa Shango in a dark match at WrestleMania 9, but dark match.
They were doing dark matches at WrestleMania?
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Next matchup, King Kong Bundy defeated SD Jones. It was supposed to be a 9-second match to break the record for quickest match. Set the tone early. WrestleMania 1, 9-second match.
Vince McMahon loved that.
SD Jones was upset and botched it. Ended up being a 24-second match. And they made Howard Finkel say it was a 9-second match in the middle of the ring.
Wow.
Yeah. People are like, I don't think so.
That was the beginning of alternative facts.
Yeah, that record would hold until 1994.
That record.
When Diesel beat Bob Backlund in 7 seconds, I think.
Okay, Vince was like, "You're getting it done."
Yeah, come on. That's crazy though, to botch a WrestleMania match because you're upset you're gonna get beaten 9 seconds. Like, nah, I'm gonna get beaten 24.
Crazy.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat signed just 4 weeks before the show. Defeated Matt Bourne. Does that name ring a bell? He would go on to become Doink the Clown.
Boom. Doink.
He was a jobber that would beat other jobbers at house shows at the time. Why don't we have that? I want a jobber to pull for. They had one in NXT, Dante Chen. People loved him, but he's his own Evolve now. If you haven't seen Evolve on YouTube, highly recommend. It's NXT's NXT.
I like that.
It's great.
Cool.
Next up, Brutus Beefcake defeated David Sammartino, the son of Bruno Sammartino.
Okay.
It ended in DQ when Bruno got involved. This whole thing was to set up Bruno's return to the ring where he would team with his son to take on Bruno and Johnny Valiant, Brutus's manager, Brutus and Johnny Valiant. And that's just, he came out of retirement to go on a run of matches with those guys.
Hell yeah.
So brought a legend back in, the first one. Look at you.
Got to.
They really love Bruno. What did Bruno Sammartino do, man? Like, that dude, what
did he do?
No, I'm saying, like, to have that great long run, and then, hey, WrestleMania 1's designed to bring you back.
Right. It's incredible.
Yeah, got to be a hell of a wrestler.
Yeah, I think he owns the record for most headlining events at Madison Square Garden.
That's awesome.
Because of how...
Well, a nice nod to him then in the Wrestle Mania one. I appreciate that.
Yeah, like I think that's actually the record that he holds. Like even now they say like Billy Joel and stuff like that, but I actually think
still gotta be
if you look at the amount of wrestling matches that Bruno Sammartino headlined at Madison Square Garden, I think he actually owns the record for most headlining.
Well, he was the champ for all of the 60s and 70s, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But no, I love Bruno Sammartino. I was not throwing shade, I promise. Junkyard Dog does not win the IC title. He won by countout against Greg Valentine. What a great guy, Greg Valentine, man. IC champ for the first WrestleMania. Walked out with it still because, heels go heel.
Heels going heel.
Next up, we get the WWE Tag Team Championship. Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov retain their titles against the U.S. Express, who happen to be Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda.
Yeah.
Love that. A lot of history there.
Yeah, seriously.
Weirdly enough, Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov had Freddie Blassie in their corner.
Who's Freddie Blassie?
Oh, I'll send you some Freddie Blassie tapes. He's an old school guy, but he was like a flamboyant, like a good talker. You know what I mean? But it's funny they paired him with the foreign people there. You know, to me, he might be something else. I don't know. I'll have to do a deeper dive in that. We'll get back to you on that one. Andre the Giant defeated Big John Studd. It was a career versus $15,000 body slam challenge. Who could pick up who? Andre slammed Big John Studd. Agreed. He tried to give away the money, but Bobby Heenan, who was Big John Studd's manager, ran in, grabbed the bag, ran it to the back. So I'm sure he gave out a little bit first, I did see where it looked like it was real money.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Give away some money, Hey, maybe some fans won their ticket price back. That's awesome.
Right.
Wendy Richter, big, now we got the two main events. Wendy Richter finally gets the title from Leilani Kai. She had Cyndi Lauper in her corner, and Moolah was in Leilani's corner.
Ooh, the Fab Moolah?
Yeah, she'll come into play later on when we do some after math. Hulk Hogan next. Mr. T defeated Rowdy and Paul Orndorff. Muhammad Ali and Pat Patterson as the guest referees.
Very cool.
At the beginning of the match, Ali was supposed to stay ringside. Like, he was there. Like, the insurance made it very clear he does not get involved. We do not need him getting hurt. Don't do it. And the bell rung, and a scuffle happened. Ali gets in the ring, and they had to go grab him. They're like, no, bro. Hey, please stay out here. Please do not get hurt. Mr. T was concerned that Rowdy and Paul Orndorff were going to beat him up for real. Like, throw punches. Because a lot of people were upset Mr. T was in this position.
Yeah.
But Vince knew main event success needed to happen for WWE's success. So Vince saw the vision. I hate seeing that. Makes my skin crawl saying that.
He saw something.
Yeah, he saw something.
He saw a lot of visions.
But yeah, apparently a lot of wrestlers were not nice to Mr. T during this whole run.
But imagine because at the time they're all on drugs, been sacrificing their bodies for.
Hadn't seen their family all year.
I mean, he's the epitome of Logan Paul coming in, really, at the time, probably.
Yeah. I wonder how he's getting received backstage. Like, the real honest truth.
Logan Paul?
Yeah.
Probably pretty well because, he's adding a lot of people to his podcast.
Getting a lot of Michael Cole was lit up the whole time. He's like, I'm on
the Michael Paul or the Michael Cole podcast was great, and even Logan Paul was like, we can't do this can't become a wrestling podcast. So the fact that he's even saying that, I'm like, people are all about it, and do I think that there's a bit of resentment in the locker room being like, oh, he's getting like main event spots, he's in Chamber, he's in this? Sure, but do I think that they're also like, do I think anyone's jealous of like the storylines and the feuds he's doing? No. I think everyone's
they're not putting him over people right now.
Right, exactly.
Some of the tidbits and fun notes. Richter was their poster girl. Richter was Wendy Richter was their girl. This whole thing was designed to elevate her and make her the face of the women's division that they barely cared about, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I think they needed it for Cyndi Lauper and MTV.
Mm-hmm.
But after the fact, she fell out with the company. And this was actually the first Montreal screw job.
Tell me about it.
In late 85, Richter was a champ still, and they had her go up against a mystery opponent, the Spider Lady. She rolled her up real quick count by the ref. Richter didn't know the outcome, thought she was going over that night, was not told anything. Spider Lady pulls off her mask. It's the Fabulous Moolah. So Moolah kept the belt for a while after that. So, yeah, they screwed over Richter. Took her belt away when she wasn't playing nice with the company, didn't tell her about it, and she disappeared after that.
Wild.
Right. So the Montreal Screwjob was not the first.
Yeah.
Like I said, this was Tito said Tina's only WrestleMania win. Day of, Mr. T almost walked out. Rowdy was being such a prick to this dude. He almost walked out. He feared for his safety in the ring. And also his entourage was not allowed backstage with him. So he was alone with the wrestlers. Literally, Hogan babysat him the whole time.
Wow.
Because him and Hogan were friends, and he knew if he wasn't by Mr. T's side, he couldn't guarantee his safety. 9 matches in 2 hours. That's insane. Mean Gene sung the national anthem because a celebrity guest that Mean Gene and Vince McMahon later refused to name failed to show.
And they never named her.
They never named him. Them.
Interesting.
Yeah. Still to this day a mystery. And Vince is out the business and Okerlund's dead, so that we'll ever know.
I interviewed Mean Gene for TMZ.
That's amazing. Dude, he's seriously one of my favorite historical figures in wrestling. You know, I wish he was still alive instead of... Could we trade Vince Russo for Mean Gene?
He was such an iconic... He was the OG backstage correspondent, wrestling reporter. I wouldn't even call him a commentator. He was
the face of the broadcast.
Just...
To me, he legitimized WCW. When WCW was really trying to get everyone's attention from WWF, Mean Gene talking to the wrestlers, making them feel comfortable, making me feel like it was old WWF, really helped that transition and really made me fall in love with WCW.
Yeah, I mean, I like the direction they've gone with, I do like their broadcasters that they currently have. And the backstage people. Love Kathy Kelly, love Jackie Redmond.
Jackie's my favorite, man. I do like Kathy, but I love Jackie.
However, I miss the Mean Gene.
What you gonna do, Mean Gene?
Just the Mean Gene style voice, the real radio kind of voice. I'm
like, you tell I could turn it on.
Yeah, like I don't know that Kathy and Jackie would say they have radio voices, right? Like Mean Gene had a radio voice, and I just there was something really soothing about that being the person interviewing these wrestlers. And
well, that's what I love about WrestleMania 1 is because to me, it's my childhood. Like, while I was not born yet, I was born a couple months after WrestleMania. I was born in August of 85. But to me, anytime I turn on old wrestling and hear Gorilla Monsoon or Jesse Ventura or Mean Gene, like, to me, that immediately takes up this nostalgia factor. Because everyone's like JR and King were the voice of wrestling. For me, it was Gorilla.
Right.
To be honest with you, if I'm 100%, when I was the biggest fan, it was Gorilla and Vince McMahon. Those were the voices I always heard on the commentary because I was a little too young they got rid of Ventura, but Gorilla stuck around and he ushered in Vince, who then ushered in King, who then ushered in JR. So I got to see that transformation. I always loved good old JR, but you know how you can tarnish your legacy by sticking around too long. And to me, JR stuck around. He said some things early on in AEW on commentary, and I was like, JR, you're losing it, bro.
Yeah, he has stuck around a little too long. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of those guys, I think AEW could use...
I absolutely love the luchador. I love Excalibur. I think he's the best they got.
I might shoot myself in the foot by saying this, but I don't know. Like, Taz doesn't do it for me on commentary anymore.
I never liked Taz on commentary.
Tony Schiavone
is the voice of WCW.
I like him as the Mean Gene, but I don't totally like him on commentary.
Is he supposed to be? Excalibur is the play-by-play guy, right? And is Tony the color?
I don't know.
Which he was always play-by-play in WCW, so I'm kind of like, I don't know what's going on anymore.
The three of them, I don't know.
Where's Mike Tenay?
I don't know. Their voices are a bit sharp. Again, it's very classic wrestling. Like, I still love the way Corey Perry said it best, saying AEW is like unprotected sex. And that's what I would call their commentary on AEW.
Yeah. Well, I think they would go a long way, and maybe she doesn't want it, but switching out Tony Schiavone and Renee Paquette and let Renee call the matches and Schiavone do the interviewing.
Yeah, they gave her a shot at WWE.
And she killed it. I don't know why they pulled the strings back, but, good old WWE back in the day. A couple fun facts for you. Liberace was the timekeeper.
Wow. Interesting. Giving roles to everybody that wanted it, basically.
Right. Richard Belzer. This is when Richard Belzer from Law & Order SVU
was a big deal. Yeah, okay.
Well, he sued Hogan because Hogan, he had a talk show back in the day, and Hogan went in and actually choked him out on the talk show.
Interesting.
Hogan didn't mean to. He's like, put me in a headlock, and he did, and he choked him out. And when he just dropped him, he hit his head and busted his head up.
I remember that, yeah.
So that's when that happened, was the promo for WrestleMania.
Yikes.
Yankees manager Billy Martin. If you don't know Billy Martin, please go check out Billy Martin. He has millions of stories out there from fighting fans on beer night or on $10 or 10-cent beer night, penny beer night. I don't know, but go listen to stories of Billy Martin. They asked him to do promo for WrestleMania, and he was clearly sloshed out of his mind. So he slurred his way through a great WrestleMania promo. Good old Billy Martin. Andy Warhol was interviewed on the build-up to WrestleMania. Andy Warhol, a secret wrestling fan. Maybe not so secret. He did an interview. So
at the time, wrestling was big, and back then it was very avant-garde. It's always been avant-garde.
Piper hated Mr. T, like we talked on earlier. Refused to be pinned by him. That was the original finish. Mr. T pins Piper. No. Piper said, no. No. Hogan pinned Orndorff. So they were like, all right, we'll just flip it then. If Mr. T ain't going to win it, let's at least give Hulkamania a shot in the arm. We talked about it being on closed circuit TV. To see it in other places, $8 to $10, depending on where you were. Go watch WrestleMania for $8. Love that. And like I said, it was part of a trilogy. On the MTV's end, they had the brawl to end it all and the war to settle the score. So that's why I guess they were going the Colossal Tussle.
Yeah, they're trying to just do it all.
But the names back then, man. But that was WrestleMania 1, dude. It kicked us off. A lot of, laying the framework for celebrities intertwined in the storylines. Mr. T, a big part of it. Doesn't really get looked at if those guys aren't there, to be honest with you.
And then really, we'll have to do an episode on WrestleMania 2.
Oh, for sure.
Because I believe that one ended up being a bit of a disaster.
Yes. And that's why they had to pull Andre back out for 3.
So it's really good.
Because they had to give us that Hogan-Andre moment at 3. So, yeah, let's do it.
We'll have to do an episode.
We'll have to do a deep dive. Coming up next on History Lesson, WrestleMania a 2. But listen to these time matches real quick. 4:49, 9 seconds. 4:39, 11:43. 6:55, 6:55, 5:53, 6:14, and then the main event 13:34.
Yeah, we don't realize how good we have it now with some of these like 30-minute matches where
sometimes you don't need
it. I mean, and it does show you how much the product has really changed from them wanting to feel like this is fast, this is a potential like kind of like the mix between boxing and whatever, boxing and like, Olympic wrestling was kind of like, I think how they tried to present it initially.
Okay.
A little bit, right?
I like it.
But they wanted to blur the lines between, is it real, is it not? And that's the best way to do. You can't draw it out for too long, in those environments.
That's fair. And I mean, I guess it's funny to think people's attention spans are longer in that regard now.
No? Yeah.
Because you don't hear that about modern people. More attention span? What?
Well, yeah, because the way they build up feuds and storylines is we do see matches now as more like a game.
Yeah.
Not just like, oh, this is just going to be like a little thing where like, oh, no, I see a steel cage match as a full game.
Yeah.
Not just a quarter of it kind of thing.
Awesome, man. Well, any last thoughts on WrestleMania 1?
Just glad you exist, WrestleMania 1, because it's led to...
So many great moments. We'll have to do our top WrestleMania moments over the years.
Yeah.
We'll have to stay
Absolutely.
tuned for that.
What about you? Parting words, parting thoughts on WrestleMania Uno?
It's fun to take something that you have known about your whole life, and I've watched WrestleMania 1, here and there, over the years. Like I got it from I unfortunately watched WrestleMania 3 as my introduction to WrestleMania. When I watched wrestling at the videos, whatever the video store had. So WrestleMania 1 was a bit of a letdown once I knew the product was what it was in the 90s. I got into wrestling when I was 4 in 89. You know what I mean? So I had 4 WrestleManias to watch when I first got into it. 3 being my favorite. So I'm sure it was great for the time, and the people were like, it was unlike anything they'd probably ever seen. You know what I mean? But like, it's just funny to me to see how many squash matches there were.
Totally crazy.
But then I love the little tidbits there, you know, like Bruno's kid getting to shine, you know, like Doink the Clown getting in on the first WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Like, that's probably the thing that blows my mind the most.
Yeah.
Is Doink the Clown was on the first WrestleMania card. Against Ricky Steamboat. Like, imagine, take that back in your head and let him be in Doink makeup, you know, like I love it. But excited how far they've come, you know. I'm pumped WrestleMania's here. I'm pumped for WrestleMania season. I wasn't excited about this WrestleMania, but now I am. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button. We got so many more history lessons coming your way. We'll see you next time on the Spandex StandUps.